Okay, hello and welcome to my Skyrim Road to all perks, max perks, uh, level 252, every perk allocated basically. There are 251 perks available in the game, so starting off with level 1, 251 level ups gives you 252, all perks. Um, there's a couple rules to this uh, sort of challenge, I guess, or mission that I've set in, and it's pretty much just don't cheat. I don't plan on using console commands to finish quests or spawn in items or money or anything like that, or kill enemies. The only time I'll be using the console is if I get stuck. Say, like with the High Hrothgar, not Radiant quest, but like fetch quests where you learn the word walls. There's the one at Arkwind Point that if you go there, you can't complete it. Learning the word doesn't actually finish the quest, and there's no like boss that's properly associated to the area, so you complete the quest without it going away. So you have to finish that with console commands. Other than that, or situations like that, no cheating whatsoever. I'm just gonna be kind of going for it as fast as possible. But I realize that getting to a really high level and having all perks isn't gonna be a good payoff if I get there with nothing left to do. I've tried this already with a previous account that I got to level 162, I think 161, where I had completed literally and definitively everything in the game. There was nothing left for me to do. I couldn't even find like you go to like to inns or whatever to ask for rumors, and they're like, oh, this guy's got a problem, and you get a sort of like small side quest. There was nothing. There was no inns anywhere with anything. Everything was done. I'd completed the game, which with 90 levels left to go, that was pretty brutal. So gave up on that, and I figured it'd be more fun anyway to sort of record the challenge and share the experience and my methods on how I get there with people, because really it's all about bragging rights. So I gotta be able to brag about it. Skyrim these days is just a dick measuring contest and who can do it better. Nobody's really playing Skyrim blind or new for the first time in 2017. So here I am trying to measure my deck. Obviously, with this challenge, trying to level up as fast as possible with as little quest progress as possible, I'm going to be using Muffle to level up my illusion. It's just constant free levels that you get over time. At level 162, I think I'd legendary illusion 22 or 23 times, um, which is not which is a little right around half of the legendary skills that I'd done. Um, and I'd just be a waste of time to not utilize that. And actually, I did originally. For some reason, I thought I was gonna not do that. I guess I didn't really realize how many perks I needed. But I'd stopped casting Muffle at 10 legend resets of the illusion skill, and I went a really long time where I didn't do it at all, which definitely hurt. I'd probably be closer to like 1 in 85, I'd say, on that file if I had have continued using Muffle, which again doesn't help a lot. I accidentally sat on a bench there, but that's fine. So right now what I'm doing is I'm knocking out the first quest line for Bleakfell's Barrow and then fighting the dragon so that I can unlock dragon spawning in the world. I don't want to, have run into the dilemma where I don't have dragon souls to unlock shouts at any point. And also, dragons are a really good source of money for lower level characters. We're going to be making a lot out of alchemy. That's going to be my secondary way, or possibly even my primary, depending how well I get this to take off. For leveling my character by making paralysis potions using the Hearthfire houses, which have greenhouses and gardens and allow you to grow ingredients. But right now, we're doing Bleak Falls Barrow. So these guys, honestly, thought I was gonna have a little bit more trouble with these guys. I've got that level up that I'm saving in case they do a bunch of damage. I save it for the majority of the dungeon going through, but we're playing on expert difficulty, which I think is the highest level difficulty at this point in the game anyway, where I have some trouble, but not an insane amount of trouble. It's not a lot of fun spending 10-15 minutes. I played a legendary playthrough where I did the entire thing on legendary difficulty, and the boss at the end of this dungeon took me ages. I went in with like 200 and some like various arrows. I used all of them, and I ran out of them. So I was just hiding behind a pillar, dancing around a sort of area that he couldn't get to, regenerating my magicka with flames, because if I got close to him, if he hit me, I was dead, and I was just doing so insignificant amounts of damage. It was horrible and not that fun. So I think Expert's a good kind of middle ground. If things get easier, like too easy, I'll absolutely turn up the difficulty, but we'll see how that goes. This scroll of Fireball, that's why I slowed that down so you can see that, is going to be important, though. You know, stuff still isn't quite easy. It's just not impossible easy on Expert difficulty. I am comfortable saying, though, that I am a Skyrim expert. Maybe even a master. We don't have to go with the Skyrim measurement system. But I've really got a lot of it down to the science. Like, this spider doesn't hit me, spoiler alerts, at all. I don't take any damage. Just because I know how to manipulate its AI and make it work. If you go too far behind the pillar, he kind of backs off a bit, and you get a few free hits. He only does that spit attack every so often, and you can dodge it even while slow drawing a bow without the perk to move faster. Oh, no, he does hit me. Darn. I'm a big dummy. But you see there, for the most part, he can't reach through there. So, super easy fight if you know what you're doing. Got it down to a science. And that's really most of this game for 2017. If this was, what, 2010 when the game came out, or whenever it was, it'd be a bit of a different story. Another scroll of Fireball in this chest. I have no idea. I really feel like this chest is the same stuff every time. I strongly have this position, because it feels like I always seem to get through this dungeon with 2 scrolls of Fireball. Maybe I'm wrong. But regardless, it's very helpful, because the boss has so much health for a 13 damage sword or whatever this is. He has probably like 400 health, and 3 or 4 hits you to dead. So obviously, the more damage you can do, the better. This is another fight where it's sort of it just goes to show how many times I've been through this. You know, I've got this guy also down to a science. He's the first difficult-ish Draugr, like 2 times damage. I only did that much. If I really wanted to, I could just go further away and go for the sneak fight where he never actually discovers me. But this is also a really solid method I found, where you just dance around this column in the center that's got the roots growing across the middle thing. Since he's using a 2-handed weapon, he's relatively slow in his attacks, and he can do 2 consecutive attacks, but not consistently. So you know, he'll attack and you'll just get a free couple hits. So it's easy, not a hard fight if you've done it 100 times like I have. I always loot that chest before I fight the guy, just in case it's got something that might be helpful. It did not in this case. The Scroll of Firestorm takes too long to cast and would not be helpful. He'd murder my butt. So here's the scrolls coming into play there. You'll see this does 50 damage. That's not a huge bite of damage. Well, I mean, I guess it's a good bite of damage, but he's got more than half his health at 100 damage done with that scroll, plus a little bit from the burn effect. Be pretty brutal if I had to go through this all using this terrible sword. But we get a lot of free shots. Like, look at that, free power attack and everything. He's just kind of really garbage. I don't know why they do that sort of. It's like a taunt attack, I guess, or taunt animation, where it just makes them shitty. But whatever, it's fine. Here we get the courier brings a letter from the Jarl of Falkreath, wants me to become a Thane, or work to become a Thane of Falkreath. For a little while, when I was going for houses right off the bat, I'd go for the Falkreath house first. I always hated having to move all my stuff, so I just pick a house, get that one first to move in. But the sort of first or easiest quest you can do for Falkreath is the one with Barbas the dog for Clavicus Vile, and that's a really annoying quest. So I've actually switched. I'm not going to bother with Falkreath for a little while yet. We'll get to it eventually, I'm sure, but the first house I'm going for is going to be the Morthal Hearthfire home. You see, I always make sure to turn in the claw here, because if you get to, I think I'm level 9 or 11 or something, I got 400 coins, which is a pretty good bite of coins this early on. And now we're going to go fight the dragon. You know, cut out all that bullshit with Jarl Balgruth up at Dragon's Reach, because it's really not important. Honestly, none of this is important. It's kind of arbitrarily selecting footage to fill time and have things to talk about. Here's another thing. Everything in this game is just more or less predictable. You could say it's boring, but I think it's kind of fun, sort of, you know, mastering the game in a way that it's all just sort of saying old hat's kind of dated and doesn't make sense given the circumstance. But you know what I mean, where you just know what you're doing. You can manipulate the game more or less. That, I was really surprised he hit me there. Dragonfire always does so much damage, so that was a bummer, but it's fine. We had lots of potions. I actually hadn't used any potions in the game up to that point, which is just, I think, a testament to how much I've played and how well I'm able to sort of manipulate the NPCs and enemies in not being effective enemies. We do have a bit of a run-in actually pretty soon. I can see that coming up in the timeline, but we'll get to that. So this dragon fight, after this dragon fight, we can completely abandon the main storyline for the next forever. We're going to move on to the Thieves Guild storyline to eventually get the skeleton key, because you can just smash through and power through lockpicking. With that, going through like dungeons of places, opening of cases, and just opening locks with the skeleton key really easily. But mostly I'm going right now just for the lockpicks from Tanelia, the fence. That was really annoying. I can't believe I left that in there. In that storyline, we're going for... Jesus. Yeah, I was waiting for that conversation to finish up, and I think I just realized that I can just talk to him. I just wanted the axe to deconstruct it, which ends up giving absolutely... Look how little enchanting experience I get for this. This is horrible. Look at that. What? I get way more for enchanting something with a petty soul gem than I do deconstructing that. That was horrible. I don't know if that's just the enchantment that gives horrible XP. I don't want Lydia to talk to me. I'm just going to leave her here. It's the best way to have her not die and have her get in the way. You know, everyone always complains about Lydia, but always brings her for whatever reason. Frig Lydia. I don't need her. I just don't loot everything. I just loot, you know, sort of worthwhile things to loot. You know, things that aren't super heavy but cost a lot. So here's that running. This is Dawnguard DLC starting up, or did start up. I'm a low level, or rather, I'm a medium. I'm level 12 now, where stuff like that can happen on a high difficulty. And I'm just in super shitty gear. I'm still wearing the stuff I sort of walked out of the opening tutorial with. You know, the Imperial armor. Actually, I think I've got the studded Imperial armor from Barrelgruff, but it's like literally one armor point, if even better. So I'm in super bad gear, which means I get wrecked when appropriately leveled things show up that I can't sort of dance around. Like that Death Hound. They're pretty fast enemies, so you can't outrun them. They attack quickly, and he got the jump on me. He got 2 hits before I had a chance to sort of figure out what was going on. So I fast traveled to somewhere closer, kind of hoping that would just be the instance out of the way. But they're actually still down there, so I've got to deal with them still. Pretty big bummer. But now that I know to expect them and that they're gonna be there, I didn't mean to fall off there. That was an accident. I can sort of I'm just gonna go up on top of that house there is what I do, and not have to deal with them until I have to. I think actually I show a lot more of this than I really need to. I think I actually show the entire fight, so what I'm gonna do... Yeah, we're totally not gonna do that, actually, now that I think about it. It was a lot of work dragging. There's a bunch of like small, tiny clips and stuff later on, and things sped up, and it was a whole lot of work moving that all over, so we're not doing that again. This is just the speed we're going to go with this fight. And it doesn't really require narration. I'll kind of explain the mechanic here. When you get to an area that an enemy can't attack you in, they'll run away, sort of. The AI will sort of pick a location that's within an area, because obviously they can't pathfind too far, that they deem safe for whatever reason. And they'll go to the same places over and over again. There's only, I guess, so many places per area where they feel like they can hide. And I guess that kind of is true looking at these. But whatever. That's the kind of exploit we're going with here, where going to places where they can't hit me, but I can hit them, except for that one that I keep having to bait out. I guess he's just smarter than that first one, who kept standing in the middle of nowhere. Doesn't matter. So, we deal with the fight. We circumvent the part where I am under geared for my level, and also too, I'd have higher like one-handed stats and things like that if I wasn't using muffle to level my character faster. But it's fine. We can work with it. It's just sort of in a way it's hard mode, and then obviously in a way it's fast mode. Usually you get, well, yeah, hard and fast. We're giving her hard and fast. It's fun. That's an agreeable thing. So now we're starting Thieves Guild up. Like I said, I want to get lockpicks going, so I don't have to worry about. Well, there's a lot of chests. I think I loot one where you can just go get some free, a few hundred gold for free, which is super useful early on. Also, having to worry about lockpicks is just a pain in the ass. The expert gate in the Ratway, for example, is pretty stressful because I've only got, I think I had 14 lockpicks there, so I've got 14 lockpicks at whatever lockpicking I am. Scary stuff. Luckily, I'm really good at lockpicking, apparently, so it didn't give me too much grief. The chest later on, same level lock, gives me a lot more trouble. I didn't think they were going to follow me through here. For some reason, I thought there was a sort of like barrier where they couldn't get through. So, you guys have to fight these guys. I find targeting the bowman first in fights like these is the best way to go about that, because bows do a whole lot of damage when they hit you, and of course they've got sort of almost aim hacks where they just land the majority of their shots. So target the bowmen, get them out of the way first, if it makes sense to. Obviously, if they're like across a huge distance. Oh, here we are. We're getting Brynjolf his money by punching people a lot. I used to think that I thought I was gonna get to keep the money from doing this. Turns out you don't. He gives me some shitty potions that I sell later for punching these people and then scaring this one. I always like saving that one for last, so you don't have to fight her. Because if you do fight her or blackmail her, well, they hate you every time you go in there, and you go in for a couple things later. So you don't want them to hate me. There he is. They got 30 lockpicks from Tanelia, a little bit better armor, or at least armor with effects and things. So some improvement in what we'll be experiencing. Here's his chest giving me all kinds of trouble. It's a good thing I had those lockpicks that I bought. And one to replace them. 233 gold added to the cash pile. Oh, wow, Jesus. Okay, now we're in Morthal. Doing the quest that'll allow me... Do I need to do the quest to buy the land? I don't actually know if you have to do the quest to buy the land. For the home. I'm pretty sure you have to do the quest first. But if you don't, that sucks. So... Hopefully you do. This is, again, like I said earlier, I think the easiest or fastest and easiest quests that you can do to get a Hearthfire home first, which of course is important. I guess we were breaking into some woman's home. We're gonna steal her diary and prove that she's a vampire, and then we have to go kill a master vampire. Which actually, this is a lot harder with the Dawnguard DLC installed because it makes all vampires better. And not just the Dawnguard vampires, so I don't know, if it's really important to you, you can always just disable the DLC for a minute, but you'd also lower the difficulty. It's not that big a deal though, it doesn't come up, it's not a big deal. That guy obviously wasn't a vampire. I think I die in the actual vampire cave. Look, these guys are all hyped. They're gonna come kill a vampire with me. Thanks, guys. You're very good friends. Very excited as a group. And they're actually not coming, turns out. But this would have been super easy if they all showed up. But I'm not sure Why? We can't have that. There's probably some sort of engine limitation. I don't know. Whatever. So here's the fight. For whatever reason, that other woman from the house that we broke into is fighting everybody, like me and the enemy vampires. I honestly don't know why she's doing that. Maybe they accidentally hit her. I don't know. Whatever. It's fine. It helped. So we gotta go. We're gonna go turn in the quest, finish the quest. We discover the Jarl Raven Crane is banging her steward, and he's gonna sell me the house. So great. Secrets of the Jarl, I guess. Alright, and here we are. That always happens the first time I've gone here. Oh, always has happened. Don't know what the deal is. Here we are, though. So we've got the Hearthfire land. I need to build the house. Greenhouse and garden priority, so I can get some Canis root and swamp fungal pod to make paralysis potions and really start leveling the heck out of this character. I think I'm level 16 now. Next episode, no idea what level I'll be. Hopefully a lot higher level. Thank you so much for watching. Tune in on the next one and see how she turns out.